gas.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Muslim leaders across northern Nigeria gather in Kaduna to brainstorm on the growing insecurity and socio-economic challenges affecting the region. And residents of Wuse Zone 6 in the nation's capital hold protests over what they call the distortion of the Abuja master plan in the area. And President Bola Tinubu returns to Abuja after participating in the Akaba Process Heads of State and Government level meeting in Rome. Also tonight, No Kings protests begin as huge anti-Trump rallies sweep across the United States.
And on business news, CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso says Nigeria has established a working group to explore possible adoption of stablecoins to support innovation in the country's financial sector.
On sports news tonight, Nottingham Forest sack Ange Postecoglou as manager after just 39 days in charge, with his dismissal coming minutes after the 3-0 loss to Chelsea at the City Ground. Good evening. We begin now with security matters as Muslim clerics and scholars across northern Nigeria have gathered in Kaduna State to deliberate on the growing insecurity and socio-economic challenges affecting the region. The conference, organized by the Northern Ulama in collaboration with the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, highlights the need to address the root causes of insecurity, such as poverty, unemployment, and injustice.
Islamic scholars are joined by traditional rulers, federal lawmakers, and policymakers across northern Nigeria to discuss and provide spiritual and social solutions to the security and economic challenges impacting Muslims in the north and the country as a whole. Organized by the Northern Ulama in collaboration with the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, the conference identified the source of the security situation in the Northwest and emphasized the need for community engagement, dialogue, and justice as tools for peace building.
The issue is, how do we Muslims understand the situation and how do we work collectively to ensure that we do it ourselves, because no one will do it if we do not do it. And it's not a kind of shifting blame to government of the day and the other government coming, that government did not do this, government do that. These people that are causing the havoc within the society of Muslim and outside are indigenous of this country.
It's more about banditry. Banditry now, we realize there is something fueling it, which is external influences. And they are not that they hate us, Nigeria, but they want our mineral resources. Because anywhere where the mineral resources is very abundant, like in Zamfara State, you find that insecurity is much. But where you don't have as much, for instance, Gombe or Bauchi, you don't have insecurity like that. So it's related with the mineral resources of the country.
These gatherings in general is to see how the role the organizations, the Islamic or religious organizations will support the efforts of the security agencies.
There were also concerns on the use of social media, especially its role in the spread of misinformation and insecurity.
I hope they will come up with something that will arrest the issue of social media by coming with a proposal on what we are going to do in the National Assembly. And by God, get this time around, we do it.
What we want the law is to come up to that level of social media, its fastness and its universality, that anybody who accuses somebody or defame somebody, he'll be brought to justice. The laws are already there. But to say that people should not speak, I don't think we are being pragmatic, because it's not possible.
As northern leaders continue to search for lasting peace in the region, these clerics have resolved to work closely with security agencies, governments, and community leaders to strengthen grassroots intelligence and promote peaceful coexistence across the region.
And as the Muslim clerics ponder on the situation there, the security situation in the north, the Kaduna State Police Command have confirmed the killing of 2 officers during an attack on the Zonkwa Divisional Police Headquarters in Zango Katov local government area of the state. The gunman was said to have invaded the police division at about 9 p.m. on Friday night through unfenced perimeters and opened fire on the officers on duty in a bid to free some of its gang members said to have been arrested and detained at the police division. According to the spokesman of the Kaduna State Police Command, DSP Mansur Hassan, 2 police officers on duty, DSP Monday Madaki and Inspector Bin Magaji, sustained gunshot injuries and were rushed to the hospital where they were confirmed dead. It said that the gunmen, after the attack, fled immediately for the arrival of a detachment of more policemen and military personnel who were mobilized by the DPO of Zonkwa Division. The PPRO also explained that no firearm or inmates were taken away by the gunmen during the attack, while efforts have been intensified to apprehend the fleeing gunmen. Meanwhile, the senator representing Kaduna South, Mr. Sunday Marshall Katung, has condemned the attack, describing it as senseless. The senator, in a statement, notes that such a criminal assault on the nation's security agencies is wicked, barbaric, reprehensible, and stands utterly condemned. Senator Katung urged security agencies to deploy every available resource to apprehend the perpetrators and ensure they are brought to justice without delay. And a confidential security assessment prepared for the United Nations on Friday has revealed that at least 17 people have lost their lives in a deadly clash between criminal gangs and illegal miners over the control of a gold-rich site in Kaduna State. The incident unfolded on Thursday in Beningwari, an area in northwestern Nigeria, long affected by lawlessness, including bandit attacks, cattle rustling, and rampant abductions for ransom. The bloodshed began when a well-known bandit leader tried to extort gold from miners at gunpoint. Beningwari, an area rich in natural resources and agriculture, had seen a notable period of calm after a peace agreement was brokered between armed groups and local communities by the Kaduna State government in November 2024. And the defense headquarters has debunked reports circulating online suggesting that the cancellation of activities marking Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary is due to an alleged attempted military coup. According to a statement signed by the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, the DHQ expressed concerns over what it termed a false and misleading report on an online platform that sought to create fear and distrust among Nigerians. Brigadier General Gusau clarified that the claims in the said report were completely unfounded and mischievous, as he explained the decision to cancel the Independence Anniversary Parade was taken purely for administrative and strategic reasons, and not for any political or security concerns as insinuated. The statement explains that the decision regarding the cancellation of the 65th Independence Anniversary Parade was to allow Mr. President attend a strategic bilateral meeting outside the country and for members of the armed forces of Nigeria to sustain momentum in the ongoing fight against terrorism, insurgency, and banditry. The statement further adds that the defense headquarters reassures Nigerians that the investigation involving the 16 officers is a normal internal process aimed at maintaining discipline and professionalism within the armed forces. Brigadier General Gusau confirmed that an investigative panel has already been constituted, that its findings will be made public upon conclusion. And from security concerns to civic issues in the nation's capital, residents of Wuse Zone 6 are decrying the distortion of the Abuja master plan in the area. The residents are lamenting poor water supply, lack of proper sewage system, and distortion of the green area in the neighborhood. Some of the residents staged a peaceful protest to call the attention of the FCT administration to the menace. Our correspondent Sarah Chimugu has the report.
Wuse Zone 6 is a popular residential area in the nation's capital. It is located in the city center, close to the Wuse Market and popular Berger bus stop. Most of the occupiers are civil servants who moved to the nation's capital in her formative years. They had enjoyed the serenity, beautiful landscape, and infrastructure in the area. However, some of the developments in the area is changing. These residents are concerned about the changing situation of the area.
These are green areas, and under these green areas there are sewer pipes, there are drainage pipes, our feces. Right now in Zone 6, our water is being polluted. These are some of the causes of this. You know, so we are protesting against contamination of our waterways, contamination of our sewer lines, and we are protesting against building on our green areas.
Bearing placards with several inscriptions, they converged close to a construction on a land which they say was marked as a green area, not for building any permanent structure.
In St. Climes, what to do is when there is a land use you want to change, you discuss with the public to get critical stakeholders, to discuss with them. We look at the pros and the cons and advise appropriately. Nobody sits inside his office and takes a decision to change land use.
The whole seaway in Zone 6 is blocked, and that place is where the seaway channel, there are over 16 seaway channels in that location where they're converting to an estate today. Our waters are already polluted. We pay heavily to maintain these things. They charge us for tenement rate and all this rate, and they don't provide anything.
The Development Control Department is in charge of maintaining the Abuja Master Plan, including the protection of the green areas. The residents say they have petitioned the department and nothing is happening.
Most of development.
The director of the department explains the rationale for the development.
The claim was that the development is on sewer line. Which no, it's not.
Yeah, because they said it's affecting the.
It's not because we have seen the drawing. We assessed the drawing. We advised the developer that this corridor, there are certain facilities and services that have been provided. You have to observe certain setbacks.
For now, the residents are calling on the FCT minister and the president to ensure that the Abuja Master Plan is not distorted. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
And to other matters now, the urgent need to prioritize prevention, strengthen institutions, and build inclusivity was at the core of the discussions at the 2025 Annual Humanitarian Lecture in Abuja, put together by the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development. The gathering explores alternative approaches to reducing the burden of growing global and national humanitarian needs. The lecture is part of events to mark the United Nations International Day for Disaster Reduction.
Thank you very much.
October 13 every year is set aside by the United Nations as International Day for Disaster Reduction, and the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development in Abuja is holding this public lecture to mark the day. The event brings together resource persons from the academia and humanitarian service organizations to discuss available options for addressing rising humanitarian crises and the need to prioritize crisis prevention mechanisms.
We are good at reacting to crisis, but we are not good at preventing it from happening. We have to go the preventive way. You don't allow disaster to happen. You don't allow conflict to occur. You have to prevent it, preempt it.
Our shared goal is to move beyond mere crisis management to investing in structural stability. We must prioritize addressing the root causes of violence, inequality, and weak governance, thereby reducing the need for emergency relief in the first place.
Beyond the conversation around disaster prevention and response, participants also converse the need to strengthen institutions and build a generation of people with increased humanitarian values.
We cannot build institutions, we cannot build nations, we cannot build communities without ensuring that what is available is first of all for everybody, and we take actions to ensure that everybody has a chance.
As Africans continue to grapple with issues such as conflicts, displacement, poverty, and climate vulnerability, it is clear that traditional models of leadership are no longer sufficient. We must build a generation of humanitarian leaders who are not only visionary, but also compassionate, inclusive, and committed to sustainable development.
The United Nations Day for Disaster Reduction aims to promote a global culture of disaster risk reduction and raise awareness about the importance of using dialogue to resolve crises and reduce growing humanitarian needs across the globe.
And in part two, after the break, President Bola Tinubu returns to Abuja after participating in the Akaba process heads of state and government level meeting in Rome. Join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 live on Channels Television. A quick recap of our top stories now. Muslim leaders across northern Nigeria gather in Kaduna to brainstorm on the growing insecurity and socio-economic challenges affecting the region. And residents of Wuse Zone 6 in the nation's capital hold protests over what they call the distortion of the Abuja master plan in the area. And President Bola Tinubu returns to Abuja after participating in the Akaba process heads of state and government level meeting in Rome. And No Kings protests begin as huge anti-Trump rallies sweep across the United States. President Bola Tinubu arrived in Abuja after participating in the Akaba process heads of state and government level meeting in Rome, Italy. The president's aircraft arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 7:30 p.m. and was received by a delegation led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Sir George Akume, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Sir Nyesom Wike, and other government officials. The Rome edition of the Akaba process heads of state and government level meeting had focused on strengthening regional and international collaboration in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism, with particular attention to West Africa. The high-level meeting was attended by King Abdullah II of Jordan, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and the presidents of Nigeria, Chad, Paraguay, Sierra Leone, and Togo. On the sidelines of the event, President Tinubu held bilateral meetings with the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and U.S. President Donald Trump's senior advisor on Arab and African affairs, Massad Boulos. President Tinubu is also said to have met with the Vatican's Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, to discuss religious harmony in Nigeria. The meeting addressed the widespread disinformation campaigns that falsely portray the country as intolerant of religious diversity. And now to innovations in justice delivery. The Lagos State Multi-Door Courthouse has unveiled the Mobile ADR Clinic Initiative, a flagship project designed to take justice beyond the courtrooms and into the streets and communities. Through this initiative, mediation and conciliation will no longer be confined to static offices or reach markets in every nook and cranny of local government areas and grassroots settlements where disputes often begin. The chairman of the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse Governing Council and judge of the High Court of Lagos State, Justice Jumoke Pedro, disclosed this at the second annual Lagos Multi-Door Courthouses and ADR Stakeholders Summit held at the Metropolitan Club, Victoria Island, Lagos. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shoyele, has the report.
The second edition of the annual Lagos Multi-Door Courthouses and ADR Stakeholders Summit brought together heads of courts across Nigeria, Other judges, lawyers, business leaders, policymakers, mediators, and other stakeholders to chart a new course for commercial dispute settlement in the country's commercial capital. The summit had the theme, fast-tracking the settlement of commercial disputes through alternative dispute resolution, ADR.
With the surge in business activity comes a corresponding rise in commercial and contractual disputes that demand prompt resolution. Delays in dispute resolution can stifle economic growth. Each unresolved case represents uncertainty, cost, and lost opportunity. Hence, this year's theme addresses this challenge head-on. Alternative dispute resolution has become the bridge between law and commerce, the meeting point of fairness, flexibility, and speed. At the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse, we have witnessed countless instances where mediation and arbitration have preserved relationships, saved businesses, and restored peace, all within timelines that conventional litigation could not match.
The Chief Judge of Lagos in his remarks called for stronger adoption of ADR, technology and innovation to deepen access to justice.
The Lagos State Judiciary has long recognized that justice delayed is indeed justice denied. It is for that reason that we continue to champion innovations which promote efficiency and access to justice. The Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse, since its inception, has become a model of judicial reform, one that reflects our collective commitment to rethinking how justice is delivered, not just through the courts, but through dialogue, consensus, and creativity.
The Lagos State government reaffirmed its commitment to making Lagos the model of swift and business-friendly justice delivery in the country through the expansion of the state's alternative dispute resolution system.
Our administration will continue to support initiatives that strengthen the multi-door courthouse network, fund capacity building, and encourage businesses to include ADR clauses in their contracts.
The keynote address of the President of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria made a case for the institutional adoption of ADR mechanisms to fast-track the settlement of commercial disputes and boost investor confidence in the country.
But governments and judicial systems must integrate ADR into their frameworks, mandating pre-litigation mediation or arbitration clauses in commercial contracts. 2, capacity building. We need to train and accredit more mediators and arbitrators with commercial expertise, ensuring quality and professionalism.
They will go to markets, maybe on special days, and they'll be able to sensitize the people.
One of the major highlights of the summit was the unveiling of the ADR clinic to fast-track and deepen access to justice while taking dispute resolution beyond the courtrooms to the communities. Shola Shiele, Channels Television News.
And to politics now, residents from 10 communities of Anocha local government area converged at the local government secretariat in Neni for a re-election endorsement rally in support of Professor Chukwuma Soludo. Highlighting his landmark achievements within the area, the people not only reaffirmed their solidarity and pledged to deliver victory for him across all 10 electoral wards, but also demonstrated their commitment by presenting a 50 million naira check to back his re-election bid. Governor Soludo expressed gratitude for the support, reaffirming his resolve to transform every part of Anambra State and assuring the people of Anocha and the trust and confidence reposed in him will not be betrayed.
It's a mega rally for the re-election of Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo and the 10 key communities in Anocha local government area, as well as supporters of ABGA, filled the local government headquarters at Neni to spotlight reasons for their unalloyed support. They hail Governor Soludo's education and health policies that have allowed many families to breathe, the gradual transformation of Agulu into a tourism hub, and the Solutions Arena Urban Regeneration Project.
Solution low ball, solution low ball, solution to Janambala gade ma. Always You are too much, what stops you. You are going higher. 4 plus 4 is 8. When you do that, now Jesus. One whoever free delivery.
Others hail the governor's youth empowerment programs as well as dualization of major roads that have revitalized commerce and connectivity across Anaucha local government area. Dancing happily on the podium, Governor Chukwuma Soludo, who is accompanied by his wife Nonye, their 2 children, as well as his deputy Onyekachi Bezim and wife Oluchi, lauds Anaucha people for their agricultural prowess.
Early last year, we launched the Operation Farm to Feed in response to those who were crying for hunger and said they were having a hunger protest. Here in this part of the world, we don't go on hunger protest, we farm. We use our hands, enterprise, hard work, integrity. These are the principles, these are the virtues, these are the values we are known for. And our people responded not by crying or protesting, but by going back to the farms. And I have come to appreciate you and to say thank you very much. Keep up the great job.
Proving their commitment to Governor Soludo's re-election, they present a 50 million naira check while giving assurances of delivering APGA in all the 10 electoral wards in Anaucha.
And still ahead on the news at 10, Syrian Governor Olayemi Kadosa says Nigeria has established a working group to explore possible adoption of stablecoins to support innovation in the country's financial sector. That's on Business News. You join us again. Welcome back. Well, to infrastructure now. The federal government has reiterated the commitment to ensure the speedy completion of ongoing road projects across the country. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, stated this while inspecting some ongoing federal road projects in Kwara State to assess the quality and level of work done so far.
The Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, is in Kwara State to inspect some ongoing road projects, including the 42 kilometers Eyen-Korin, Ogelu, Afon, Ojoku, Ofa Road, which is expected to be completed by December 2025. The visit is to ascertain the level of work done and to ensure that the project meets the required standard. Mr. Umahi also inspected the 130 kilometers Bode-Sadu-Keama Kosubosu Road as he promised speedy completion of the projects.
We're moving around, and it's going to be a continuous, movement to ensure that the right quality of building roads. We don't want road constructed; we want road built. That's the intention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that is what he's doing. I don't know any road in this country ever constructed that lasted more than 15 years. So there is an innovation, and so President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has brought innovation, the use of reinforced concrete, to build our roads. And so you can see how thick they are.
The minister is accompanied on the inspection tour by the Federal Controller of Works and the Kwara State Commissioner for Works. They are optimistic that the roads will be completed in due time.
We are very satisfied. The quality is good, and they are about 45% completion. And by December, we are looking at 100% completion of this particular alignment, and we are very happy.
Submitting progress report is different from seeing it actually on the ground. I think you can agree with me that he confessed that the progress of work is excellent.
Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak appreciates the precedent for the project.
We're glad we have this road.
This is part of what you call the dividends of democracy, dividends of the renewed hope agenda. We thank Mr. President for his commitment. This road has been there since the 60s, but it was much more of a footpath. It's really a footpath, so it's now a green road, basically greenfield road. Boa just bulldozed everything and created a new road here. So the challenges of it's not just building on an existing road or reconstructing a road. It's a new channel, and so we're glad with the work.
The minister also had a brief stopover at the ongoing Oyo Ogumosho Road dualization project. Minister is pledging that the administration of President Bola Tinubu is committed to addressing the infrastructure in rural communities across the country.
And in Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has formally launched a €410 million waterways infrastructure project aimed at developing rapid transportation options that will address Lagosians' mobility needs. The project, divided into two components, will be implemented by the Lagos State Waterways Authority, with the second component expected to be completed by 2030.
Develop mass public inland
Omieko, Lagos State's long-anticipated inland waterways foreign partners, stakeholders in the transportation sector, who all converged on 5 Cowries Terminal Falomo-Ikoyi to be a part of the historic project initiated by the Lagos State Waterways Authority.
This is a 410 million Omieko project. This is no longer a dream anymore. We are now living the dream. We're going to be seeing the influx of over 70 hybrid electric ferries to reduce emissions and boost clean mobility.
The Omieko project represents not only infrastructure, but innovation in motion, an integral component of the Lagos State transport policy, which envisions an integrated, seamless, multimodal net.
Let me also say that you could not have picked better partners, especially the French Development Agency. And for those who ask, what is President Tinubu always going to do in Paris? The roots go very, very deep. They are some of the most expeditious partners to work with when they commit.
The partnership between Lagos State and EU member states is one that's cherished, given the numerous opportunities along the state's waterways.
The sizable support which we are bringing to this project, 300 million euros in subsidized loans, some 540 billion nairas, and 60 million euros in grants, equivalent to approximately 110 billion nairas, shows the strength of a partnership, as well as Team Europe's commitment to roll out its global gateway investment strategy aimed at enhancing global connectivity across the world, in particular in Africa and Nigeria.
For a distinguished Governor Sanwo-Olu says the project reaffirms frontline leadership in delivering a sustainable integrated water transportation ecosystem.
Omieko's project is a comprehensive, future-oriented blueprint for a sustainable mobility in Lagos. It merges technology, it pushes environmental stewardship, it creates a smart design for the waterways that is not just navigated, but is optimized. Our goal is simple, but yet profound: to make movement seamless, to make air cleaner, to transform our waterways from barriers of separation into corridors of opportunities.
Omieko project is designed to develop 15 new ferry routes, construction of 25 ferry terminals and other facilities that will improve movement along the Lagos waterways.
And to company news now. Elizade JAC Autoland, distributors of the JAC brand in Nigeria, has launched their latest brands of JAC T9 pickup and JS8 Pro SUV into the Nigerian market. The company says the launch is part of a strategic partnership with JSE Motors International to expand the brand's presence in Nigeria by introducing durable, versatile and affordable vehicles tailored to demands of the local market.
Management partners and distinguished guests are all present to witness a new dawn in the life of one of Nigeria's leading auto distributors, Elizade Jack Autoland, distributors of the Jack brand, as the company launches its latest into the market. It's the unveiling of the T9 pickup truck that comes with combined durability, versatility, and style that's comfortable and spacious.
We are proud of our partnership with JLC Motors, whose dedication to engineering excellence continues to benchmark across global markets. Together, we affirm our promise to deliver vehicles that Nigerians can trust, enjoy, and proud to own.
The new vehicles come with advantages such as fuel efficiency, rugged design for various terrains, a 27-degree approach angle, and other benefits for users.
When you get the Jack T9, you are getting 60 years of experience. And this brings five-star safety. It brings unbreakable off-road experience.
Some of the special guests give their thoughts on the coming of the T9 pickup truck and JS8 Pro SUV.
Now there's a T9. My dear brother Demola, we should have a deal today and see how we can replace and upgrade our vehicles too.
The price are moderate enough, and I believe if you buy this brand, you will not regret it.
Welcome to the new world, presenting the Jack JS8 Pro and the T9.
With presence in Akure, Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, Elizade has built trust through detailed pre-sales consultations, factory-trained technicians, and reliable after-sales packages.
For us, it's always about customers, what their expectations are, and ensure that we continue to give Nigerians what they want in terms of the latest vehicles, in terms of engine and in terms of features.
With Elizade's sales points and also their after-sales service here, we can provide Nigerian people good products, good service, and to improve their life. A sizable number of us today.
The official launch of the Jack T9 pickup and the JS8 Pro SUV is part of the Elizade Jack Autoland's efforts to expand its presence and strengthen partnership with Jack Motors International and ensure that it brings the best technologically enhanced vehicles to consumers in Nigeria.
And to oil and gas now. Nigeria's Minister of Environment, Mr. Balarabe Abbas Lawal, says the country cannot achieve sustainable oil production without an effective oil spill management system. The minister was represented by the Director General of the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency. Mr. Chukwuemeka Woke stated this while declaring open the two-day 2025 Oil Spill Management Technical Workshop, an exhibition organized by Clean Nigeria Associates in Port Harcourt. Our correspondent Charles Operum reports.
As Nigeria intensifies efforts to sustain its oil production levels amid growing environmental concerns, stakeholders in the petroleum sector are once again spotlighting the urgent need for stronger oil spill management systems, cleaner energy practices, and a renewed commitment to restoring degraded ecosystems across the Niger Delta. Clean Nigeria Associates, a leading Tier 2 oil spill response group, convenes experts and regulators at its second technical workshop to share new insights on prevention, control, and remediation strategies.
The challenge of safeguarding our environment is far too significant for a single entity. It demands the collaboration and expertise of all stakeholders. Reflecting on CNA's journey fills me with immense pride. Since our establishment in the year 2000, we have fostered resilience and capacity. To date, CNA has effectively addressed over 180 oil spill incidents across swamp, land, and offshore environments.
Representing the Minister of Environment, the Director General of the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, Chukwuemeka Woke, remarks on sustaining the campaign against oil pollution and supporting government's response mechanisms.
Over the past 4 years, Federal Ministry of Environment has been resolute in addressing the twin challenges of pollution and environmental degradation. We have advanced major interventions such as 1. The Ogoni Cleanup Project, which continues to restore land and waters along scarred by hydrocarbon contamination. Strengthening the Natural Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency NOSRA to ensure faster, more transparent response to incidents and to enforce accountability from operators.
There are further contributions from other industry experts on the issue of combating oil spills.
This collaboration has not only safeguarded our environment and coastal ecosystems, but has also fostered a shared culture of responsibility between the regulators and operators in the oil and gas sector.
As we gather once again to share knowledge, deepen collaboration, and strengthen our collective resolve to protect Nigeria's environment and communities from the impact of spill, as OSP management remains one of the most pressing challenges in our industry.
With the theme, Effective Oil Spill Management, Pathway to Sustainable Oil Production, the 2-day event featured technical sessions, exhibitions, and an award night recognizing individuals and organizations for outstanding contributions to the oil sector. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
And for the latest in business now, here's Will.
Thank you, Ladi. Nigeria's Finance Ministry has established a working group to explore the possible adoption of stablecoins as part of ongoing efforts to support innovation in the financial sector. And this is according to the Governor of the Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso. He made this known during a joint press briefing at the conclusion of the annual meetings of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in Washington, D.C. Mr. Cardoso also mentioned that while balancing the risk of emerging technologies, the CBN, the Ministry of Finance, and other relevant institutions have set up specific working groups to take a deeper dive into understanding the broader ramifications and implications of adopting a viable framework for stablecoins in Nigeria. He added that beyond policy engagements, the financial market regulator is deepening partnerships with key stakeholders, driving innovation and investment. Now, Nigeria has finalized a strategic partnership with the world's largest solar panel company, LONGi, to establish the 500 to 1,000 megawatt solar panel production factory in the country. The partnership was finalized at LONGi's headquarters in Xi'an, China, during a visit by a delegation from Nigeria's Energy Commission, ECN. This follows an earlier memorandum of understanding and aims to boost the nation's renewable energy sector by increasing local manufacturing capacity, creating jobs, and supporting the government's solarization policy. The Nigerian delegation was received by President Boshin-Jung and Vice President Lee Wen-shu of LONGi and taken on a tour of one of the world's largest solar cell production facilities. This visit follows the Memorandum of Understanding signed between ECN and LONGi in London earlier this year. Economic think tank, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPP, has reacted to the recent presidential prerogative of mercy given by President Bola Tinubu on some individuals convicted of corruption, financial crimes, murder, drug trafficking, and illegal mining. In a statement released by ITIS CEO, Muda Yusuf, while commending the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, for clarifying the list of beneficiaries of the presidential prerogative of mercy is not final. The CPP warns that the inclusion of economic and financial offenders on the pardon list carries far-reaching economic, social, and reputational consequences. The CPP identified 4 critical risks associated with the clemency, which includes weakening of deterrence and the rule of law, damage to investor confidence, reputational and governance risks. To mitigate reputational and economic risks, the CPP asked the federal government to urgently review and rationalize the current list of beneficiaries, reaffirm Nigeria's zero-tolerance stance on corruption, drug trafficking, illegal mining, and financial crimes, uphold institutional integrity, and resist any compromise of justice for political expediency, and strengthen transparency and accountability. Thinking of the financial sector, the Central Bank and the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, have teamed up to develop a framework that will address the issue of failed airtime recharge and data subscription purchased on electronic platforms such as bank apps and USSD. The Director of Consumer Protection and Inclusion at the CBN, Aisha Olatinwo, who made this known to journalists, says the initiative being led by the NCC will ensure that customers get their value at all times. She clarifies that this framework was born out of rising complaints over the loss of money by consumers who experience failed transactions but get debited without a refund. A recent report by MasterCard estimates that about 91% of telecom consumers in Nigeria use electronic channels to recharge. And that's business news. It's back to Ladi for more on the news at 10.
Thanks, Will. Well, for some health news now, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohamed Pate, says global health leaders are aligning on the need for developing countries to exit dependency by enhancing public investments in health infrastructure. Professor Pate made this known when he engaged major international finance institutions and philanthropists on the sidelines of the World Bank IMF 2025 annual meetings in Washington, D.C. The coordinating minister further stated that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's targeted macroeconomic and regulatory reforms are specifically designed to enhance investor confidence across sectors.
At the HealthWorks Global Leaders Coalition, which is convened by the President of the World Bank, there was a recognition that Nigeria is charting the way forward for many countries in how we can accelerate expansion of access to quality healthcare, making it affordable as we continue the dialogue, which is going to translate into additional resources to provide care for our citizens. In the primary healthcare arena, we're seeing expansion of the primary healthcare system. Utilization is going up, frontline workers have been activated, health insurance is expanded, and that is a model in terms of the compact that the federal government signed with states and local government that other countries are looking to it. In addition, manufacturing of local commodities, pharmaceuticals, test kits, the approach through the presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain is being celebrated as a good example for how country, through a cross-sectoral initiative led by the president, can begin to unlock the healthcare value chain, promote domestic manufacturing, and create jobs. We also had an opportunity to engage with the CEO of Wellcome Trust, one of the largest philanthropic foundations investing in health and biotechnology all over the world, and discuss the global health architecture, how the ecosystem is changing, how it's adapting to respect country leadership, country ownership, and helping countries move towards exiting dependency. We shared ideas as to how the political decisions will be made at the global level, at the regional level, and at the country level to ensure that countries take control of their destiny and are supported to fulfill the aspirations of their populations. Again, recognizing that the reforms undertaken by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are really being acknowledged globally, and I think Nigerians will be very proud of it.
Hello and welcome to Sports News. We begin with the English Premier League, where Chelsea hammered Nottingham Forest 3-0 at the City Ground at the early kickoff, while Daniel Welbeck scored a late winner as Brighton beat Newcastle United 2-1 at the American Express Stadium. Elsewhere, Luam Chuana's sensational second-half goal helped Burnley defeat Leeds United at the Turf Moor Stadium to end their 5-match winless run, as Crystal Palace and Bournemouth had to settle for a 3-3 draw at Selhurst Park. In other matches played earlier today, Erling Haaland netted twice to continue his sensational goal-scoring streak to help City edge past Everton 2-0 at the Etihad Stadium. Sunderland also defeated Wolves 2-0 at the Stadium of Light to maintain their fine start to this season. Well, Nottingham Forest manager Ange Postecoglou has been sacked after just 8 matches in charge, just minutes after a 3-0 home defeat to Chelsea. A statement released by the club confirmed that after a series of disappointing results and performances, Ange Postecoglou has been relieved of his duties as head coach with immediate effects. The manager was only appointed on September 9, months after Europa League success with Tottenham Hotspur, but after no win and 6 defeats from his first 8 matches, the owner of the club has acted, and Forest are now on the hunt for a 3rd manager this season. Let's take you to Spain now, where Real Madrid head coach Xabi Alonso has backed La Liga players protesting against the Spanish top flight's decision to take a march to Miami. Alonso told a news conference that the Los Blancos are against the march because it distorts the competition. The Spanish Footballers Association said there would be a symbolic protest at the start of every La Liga match this week. And players from both Oviedo and Espanyol refused to move from the first 15 seconds of their game on Friday, although broadcasts of the game did not show it. With that sports news, I am Kelly Egiga. Back to Ladi. All right, thanks, Kelly. To some international news now. Vast crowds gathered to protest against President Donald Trump's policies in cities across the U.S., among them New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Miami, and Los Angeles. The rally in New York City's iconic Times Square drew thousands of people not long after it began on Saturday morning. The streets and subway entrances were densely packed with people holding up signs with slogans like "Democracy, not monarchy," and "The Constitution is not optional." Ahead of the demonstrations, Trump allies accused the protesters of being linked with the far-left Antifa movement and condemned what they called the Hate America rally. Organizers and protesters out on Saturday said the event were peaceful. We see also in Western Kenya, there's also vast crowds there. I see the body of beloved politician Raila Odinga for the biggest day of mourning ceremonies that have already claimed at least 5 lives this week. Odinga passed away at age 80, died from a suspected heart attack in India on Wednesday, triggering a huge outpouring of grief across the country, but particularly in the Western Kenya, where his Luo tribe are dominant. Reports say there were immediate signs of chaos as his coffin approached the stadium in Kisumu, with a huge group of mourners breaching a security gate and climbing over walls. Many feared Saturday's ceremony could turn deadly, given the mayhem at memorials in Nairobi this week. And President Volodymyr Zelensky appears to have come away empty-handed from a White House meeting after U.S. President Donald Trump indicated he was not ready to supply the sought-after Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine. Zelensky said after the cordial bilateral meeting that he had with Trump had talked about long-range missiles, but decided not to make statements on the issue because the United States does not want an escalation. Following the meeting, Trump took to social media to call for Kyiv and Moscow to stop where they are and end the war. And that's it for now. Our top stories again. We see Muslim leaders across northern Nigeria gather in Kaduna to brainstorm on the growing insecurity and socio-economic challenges affecting the region. And that's it on the news at 10. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. From me and the team right here at Channels HQ, it's good night.